All right.
For real this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest, Arkansas great. Won pretty much every award you can win in college baseball. Thankfully, as being part of the Razorbacks.
There will be a statue of him very soon. I know it.
Work in progress.
That will come.
We got Kevin Kopps here with us. What's going on, man?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Like I said, appreciate you coming on and giving us the time. We don't want to take up a lot of your time, but there's several things we got to talk about. Obviously, we got to start with Arkansas.
Also, real quick, let me geek for just a split second. Let everybody know. I don't even follow baseball at all. Dakota made me last year for Arkansas, so I went to a game with him, and he's like, well, "I'm telling you, if Kopps comes in here, you're gonna see. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Kopps came in, and I was like, "Oh, I am all the way back on baseball. Like 45 completely changed my perspective on baseball. Like I got to geek publicly for just a split second, just to the amount of appreciation I have for what is Kevin Kopps is freaking phenomenal around here. So get that out of the way.
I'm sure it's a goal.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's a goal for most players. Like get kids into the game. Little did you know, you're getting grown men.
You're getting grown men into baseball.
I told him, I was like, and this is, I still believe this. Like, I think last year's team was the best team I've ever seen. Like talent wise, it was absolutely ridiculous. It didn't work out the way we hoped, obviously, but that team, it was ridiculous. So
yeah, I kind of had the same feeling during the season, and then things just kind of fell apart. Yeah.
Well, we're not going to dwell on that. Okay, I've done it enough.
Happy thoughts.
I'm mourned. I'm past it. Talking about that team though, last year, like I would imagine that is, and I guess it's been in several years here recently, but that's got to be a pitcher's dream, being a part of a team that hits that many home runs. Like even if you have a slip, like it seems like we were never out of a game.
Yeah, I think that's that's part of the reason that I did so well, or like it looked like I did so well. And I got all the wins is because our team was never out of the game, and they would hitters would put us back in late in the game and just at any time. And it makes you feel real comfortable out there on the mound that the game is going to turn eventually.
You look pretty comfortable. I will say that.
What would you say, like, what would you attribute to, like, obviously there was a major come up last year for you personally. I mean, not to say that you weren't Kevin Kopps, but like you were, like, it's a national phenomenon last year. Like what happened in the off season that kind of got your mind right and was like, hey, this is we're doing this year?
There were a couple things. I'm thankful for the journey I had. I spent 6 years at Arkansas. Every kid wants to go there and, play 3 years and have 3 really good years and get drafted. But God had different plans, and I'm really thankful for the journey because it made me grow up a lot and learn a lot about myself, and like to keep trusting, because what your perfect plan is not his perfect plan. And I got to really learn that. And kind of what helped me last year is, I guess the pandemic helped me to just think about who I am and kind of separate myself from baseball and figure out who I am in baseball and figure out who I am as a man. And I just focused on those two things in the fall and started trying to appreciate myself and love myself for the gifts that I had, and started focusing on driving or making those gifts better instead of trying to be someone that I'm not, kind of in both aspects. And I just went back to an old throwing pattern I used to do before I tried to be someone else, and just really focused on that. And it kind of just took off from there, I would say.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Did anyone specifically teach you that is that something that you had always done? You just kind of stopped doing it for a little bit, and then we're like, I'm gonna pick this back up.
Hey, we're back.
He just smiles. He just sits there smiling. Can you hear us, Kev? Bear with us, folks. We got a little technical difficulty here. Can you still hear us?
I mean, it's good news for him. To be frozen, you can get stuck with a funky face. At least he's smiling, looking good.
He's also got the whoop pig, so it works perfect.
Right.
There
we
he
are.
is. Uh-oh. We can't hear you.
We got no audio. We got the videos clear as day.
I don't know what happened. That last freeze, the audio just dipped. Just make sure it's not on our stuff here. I don't know if Macy's just like maybe close by. Turn that sucker off. Still nothing, Kevin?
His microphone shows off.
Oh, you got your microphones muted.
Good.
Good.
There we go.
Sorry.
No worries. Between Arkansas reception and Texas reception.
Struggling today.
Struggle bus.
Speaking of Arkansas, Texas, this works out perfect. So to start the season last year, y'all ran through Texas. You had Texas Tech, Texas, and TCU. And all the stuff started about Arkansas owning Texas and all this stuff. And then roll right into football season. Arkansas beats Texas A&M, and all of that came back up again. So like obviously it's obviously to start off the season with 3 big wins, but like take us through that first little run there you had.
Is it noise that you actually hear?
Yeah, you hear it, and the coaches try to keep us like not focusing on it a lot, and we knew we were good, but we didn't know how good we were because we haven't played anybody in a while. So I think everybody was unsure at that point. Even sweeping in Texas, we were unsure, and then especially opening up against Alabama and losing 16-1, the first SEC game. We were really unsure of ourselves, and then we kind of picked ourselves back up. Coach Van Horn kind of helped us pick ourselves back up and helped us understand that baseball is crazy and things happen. And then I think after Mississippi State, I think the noise went away because then I think after that weekend, we really knew that we were really good. There was no doubt.
Yeah, so obviously Arkansas, Mississippi State, well, everybody was expecting that rematch going into the year. Would have been awesome. You talk about feeling better once you played Mississippi State. Like, what is the rivalry from the team side in baseball? Like, I feel like different sports have different rivalries. Like, what is it for baseball?
I think the rivalry is kind of formed more around respect for each other. Like us and Mississippi State, or I would say we can be rivals just because we're at the top of the conference every year. But I think that it more comes down to teams that you don't like. You know, maybe teams like Ole Miss that act a little bit differently than you or a little bit louder, and you like to play a little bit different way. Coach Van Horn likes us to stay professional as much as we can, and sometimes we're not, but he'll come down and let us know that we're messing up and not being as professional as we should. I think that's where more of the baseball rivalries come down to, or like for me, like Texas schools. I'm from Texas, so I want to beat all the Texas schools, stuff like that, especially A&M. I don't like A&M a lot. So I think it just comes down to who you really don't like and not necessarily who's on your level, if that makes sense.
That makes 100% sense.
I can see. I mean, it makes sense from a fan perspective. Obviously, Van Horn wanting you guys to keep it together, but you get an occasional horns down behind your back at the national anthem. It's always good.
Yeah.
I mean, from our seat, like Tennessee this year really felt like it got heated. Like it was that series, especially late in the season, felt like a big time rivalry. Obviously, you had the back and forth after the game, but that was electric.
I was all for it.
Even though when we lost, like that was awesome series.
Yeah, like them, like we had some guys chirping them, they were chirping us, and it just starts stirring the pot. And like we weren't ever really rivals, but like then you have two guys like chirping at each other, two really good teams, and just calls for like a really good series and really good games between the two.
Then you got Kevin over there, like, all right, now I got to bail y'all out. Hang on.
And do what I do.
Let me give him some of this stinky tea.
I'm gonna just keep going. So you're gonna have to get yours in. Stop.
From somebody who doesn't really know much about baseball, what the heck actually happens when the catcher comes to the mound for like a talk with the pitcher, like in the middle of a play or like in between? I have no idea what happens there. What happens?
It depends on the pitcher and also the catcher, what they're gonna say. Opitz, for example, just comes out there and tries to make you laugh and tells you you're good, and then he just walks away. And that's pretty much it for me. Like they just try to get your mind off of it. And that's kind of the big key of pitching is like trying to slow the game back down, because the game can like really speed up on you, like for any position. Like pitcher, you're in the game all the time. So he's just trying to slow the game down and help you not to think so much, because that's kind of the key in baseball is to not think.
Gotcha. Okay.
So obviously the camera angle amplifies this, but like you're watching on TV, you're looking at it, you can see Opitz the whole time. And after every big strikeout or at the end of the game, watching him get just as excited as everybody in the stadium is awesome. Like that's got to be, obviously the pitcher and catcher have a special relationship. Like what's it like having him behind the plate for you?
I'm sure all the pitchers love it, but I think I especially love it because a lot of times I'm not super emotional on the mound, like externally, and he does it for me almost. So it kind of like, it's almost like it feels like even more of an extension like myself. Like when we're throwing to each other, like we're like one person or one player, but like when he does that, it's almost like he completes me, you know.
I'm sure he'd love to hear that. That's what, like you saying you're not as external and you don't show your emotions as much. That's why I think I was drawn so much to Lockhart watching him pitch, because him and Opitz together, like they get to feel it and they let it show, and it is
yeah. So how were you back at home for the draft process stuff? Were you with your family and everything when the draft was going on, or how would that go down?
My family came up to me. I was in Fayetteville still. Okay. And we just watched it in my living room. It was even having a year like that, it was stressful. Really? I don't know why. You're just like really anxious the whole time. And it's just a big sigh of relief once you finally get that call.
That was about to be my follow-up, because you look like you're a super, like you said, you keep your emotions inside. So it's like, were you actually letting people see you? Were like, come on. Like, did you actually get super pumped like when the pick happened, or what? I mean, it's the Padres. That's pretty awesome.
I was pumped on the inside. I just hugged my family. They all teared up, but I kept it inside.
Kevin's got to be the rock.
I mean, like obviously people watch the NFL draft and stuff like that, and that's kind of like when you get picked by a team, you know what you're walking into immediately. Obviously, baseball, that's not the case. It's a longer process to get there, but to get drafted to a team that's like coming up at the right time, like that team looks like they're going to be good for a long time. So getting picked to an organization like that's heading in the right direction, you getting there at the right time. Like I was really hoping for a postseason run, just by some chance. Like, hey, you know what we could use? The deep bullpen. We need Kevin Kopps. Get him out there and I'm a Cardinals fan, so as soon as we get knocked out, it would have been easy to root for.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to love the Padres like I love Arkansas. I really fell in love with the university being there. I'm starting to do the same with the Padres, and it's exciting because they don't make you stay in the system too long. If you're ready, they'll send you up, and I think that's encouraging to all the guys in there that you don't have to just sit in there and play. That they'll just, once you're ready, they'll send you up.
Yeah, I mean, moving up to with San Antonio Missions now. I mean, it's like what you pitch like 14, little over 14 innings, 22 strikeouts, which is over half the people you faced. Like
the guy was like, no big deal.
Still a sub. You don't have to do it. I'm gonna do it. Like still a sub-1 ERA. That's ridiculous. Like I agree. Like they recognize it, but you definitely deserve it. So you mentioned you fell in love with the university. I feel like every year when we get to regional, super regionals, Fayetteville just picks another team, like maybe a lower seed, and like adopts that team as their second team because they pack the stadium and they just stay there. And this year, NJIT was that team. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't know that was a team. Like when they said New Jersey Institute of Technology, was not aware of them prior to the tournament. But seeing all them come out, like their Twitter page changed their team name, or changed their name to like Fayetteville's second favorite team. Like, did you get to interact with any of those guys, or was it too much going on? Because it seemed like they were loving it.
I didn't get to interact with any of them. There was too much going on for me, but I love that. I think it says a lot about the school and the fan base that they really care. Like, there's good ways to heckle and there's like bad ways to heckle, and I think our fans do a good job of like heckling other players but still like loving them at the same time. Mississippi State's fans also do a good job of doing that. Like they give you a hard time during the game, but after the series they're all buddy with you, which is nice, and I think that's how it should be.
So you speaking of other people's fans and heckling people, it's not necessarily heckling, but there was a big to do about the Vandy Whistler. How noticeable was that when you guys were on the field? Because that guy was out of control.
He was.
Honestly, when I'm pitching, I don't really hear anything.
That's what I was hoping for.
But if I'm not pitching, yeah, I don't really hear anything. I can hear my dad's voice. I asked my dad not to yell, and I think it would get muffled anyway at this point. But like that's something that has always like caught me off guard. But besides that, I don't hear anything. But if I'm in the dugout or in the bullpen, it's tough. You can't not hear it.
So imagine being in the bullpen. You got whoever's playing in there right next to the hog pen. Like you're hearing everything going back and forth, and that place gets rowdy sometimes. So I imagine it seems like it's a great place to have the bullpen because you got your fans right there and they're getting amped up. But it seems like a very difficult place to like start to focus in with all that going
on. Sometimes not too bad. I don't want to say I'm a very private person, and I think that's the only thing I don't like about being so open to people. But like once I get going, I get going. Then that's kind of why I shave my mustache, because like when I had a mustache, it's like I had the mustache and it made me feel like even more people were looking at me. Yeah, and just looking at my mustache, so I had to get rid of it. What was that?
I cut a mustache during baseball season because of it.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Kevin doesn't want all the eyes on him.
That's okay. I'll wear the mustache. Off. They can look at mine.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Yeah, but.
I'm curious. So the game against Nebraska, when you come in was it the third inning? Like, is that something that was talked about prior? Like, hey, if we get into a situation, how comfortable are you coming in? How early, or was it just a spur of the moment thing?
It's more spur of the moment. I think or not, I think, before every game, Coach Hops would usually call me or text me, ask me how many innings I had that day. And I would usually say an inning less than how many I would actually throw. Like I'd be like, oh, I'm good for 2 and I'd throw 3 that day, or I'm good for 3 and I'd throw 4 that day. That day, I think I don't know how many I said, but I was not expecting to come in the third. And I wasn't expecting to finish the game, but I felt good the entire time. So I just kept going back out there.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly, I'm sure you've heard this countless times, but it honestly looked like you were getting like better as the game went on.
Oh yeah,
which is kind of crazy considering, like you said, you weren't expecting to go in that soon and then especially finish the game. But so I was at that game sitting down the third baseline almost to the hog pen, and obviously Nebraska goes up 2-0. You come in, damage control, and then I had my 7-year-old with me, and Opitz came up to the plate, and he was like, I bet he hits a home run right here. And I was like, well, I mean, like, I hope you're right, but he's got 1 on the year, so let's get him on base. And before I got it out of my mouth, it clears the wall. And then Robert Moore comes up, hits a bomb, and the game's on. And obviously Charlie Welsh comes in, who we need to talk about, best pinch hitter of all time. Got to be, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I Dave Van Horn, obviously a great coach. Like I said, that team is great, but to have somebody like that you can call whenever you're in a
we're not
situation.
just going to gloss over how fantastic
awesome.
Dave Van Horn is. We're not just going to, well, Dave Van Horn is no. Dave Van Horn is that guy. I'm sure Kevin knows any better than any of us.
Yeah, so like, how is Van Horn like it? Obviously practicing games, whatever, but like just him as a person, like, is he same guy you see during the games, or is he loosen up, or how is he?
He's loosened up a little bit, or he's a lot looser than in the games. And as I've been there, he's loosened up even more. But as a person, I think he's more worried about like who we are as a man and who we're like building ourselves to be as a man, which I think is super important. And I think that's why Arkansas is really successful, because I mean, we get good players, and then he wants you to grow up and mature as well as being a good player. And I think that's why we stay consistently good, as we keep those guys and just kind of keep that going.
Awesome. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Last thing I got for you, man. Just, I don't know how much you keep track. Obviously, you know the guys that are still on the team. Like going into this year, what are your expectations, or how do you see this year going for them?
You're talking about like this upcoming season?
Yeah.
What am I don't know if I have any expectations. I started to feel really good about where I was at the end and kind of where I have been, like how I've been throwing. I kind of started, like I said earlier, like I went back to my old arm path. And I kind of got away from it a little bit at the end. And I think it was just because I was getting tired and trying to do other things. But I started going back to it, and everything started clicking again. So I'm kind of really excited to see how like spring training goes for me and stuff like that. You asked earlier, I didn't really get to answer it, like where I found that arm path from. It was just my original arm path that I used to do. And I tried to change it to throw more like high spin fastballs, carry fastballs, but that's not me. And I actually found, I've said this before, I don't know if y'all heard this, but I found my arm path again just by playing fetch with my dog. Because like I'm constantly like obsessing over baseball, and I was just throwing a tennis ball, and it just like started coming out of my hand like I hadn't been wanting it to, because I had been cutting it really bad, trying to get over the top so much. And I just kind of went back to the old arm path and like stopped thinking about throwing while I was throwing tennis ball, and it just clicked, and I just kind of ran with it last summer. And it started to click again, and I'm starting to kind of slowly throw again, and it just feels really good. So I mean, I'm excited to see where I end up.
We're freaking excited to see how you do, man. I'm sure the sky's the freaking limit for you.
You turned a bunch of people's diet plan upside down with your beet juice comment. Now you have a lot of people throwing tennis balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, man.
Well, man, dude, I can't thank you enough.
That's all I got.
This is awesome. And for obviously the end of the season last year was a whirlwind for you. You were talking to everybody. We were just starting up, so we didn't expect to ever hear back from me. Not a you thing, it's us thing. Like we didn't expect to be.
Kevin knows how long I've been trying to talk to him.
And it's awesome to see you come back and give us this opportunity. So we appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Nothing but success.
Thank you guys again for having me.
I hope the best for you and your family, and I can't wait to see you take the mound with the Padres, man.
Me too. If you could just maybe give us some home runs against the Cardinals, though, that'd be great. All right.
I don't know, but yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. We appreciate it. We'll let you get out of here.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Thank you guys. See you.
See you.